more enthusiastic about being in your class. Gillihan.
Student discourse leads to student academic success because the students are processing and taking ownership with their thoughts and their ideas. Conversing is the building block of learning, so with more conversation becomes depth and understanding.
Awesome. I love the depth and the understanding and the incorporation of the vocab. I know a lot of the times when we're talking about standardized testing, we say, oh, well, we have to teach the test, but really if we teach them the skills, they should be able to take any test regardless of the content and be successful. So if they are really deepening their understanding and they understand the process of critical thinking and analyzing, which student discourse can definitely help with, then that will translate to success in other classes, on standardized tests, on SATs, on really any problem solving that they have to do in the future. When I wrote my little sentence then, I said that student discourse leads to academic success because when they use the language and have time to process, their minds go through a more critical and analytical process that allows them to understand the topic more thoroughly. So I think we all were kind of on the same track there. Any other thoughts about why it leads to academic success? Okay, so in the next box, if you will complete the sentence stem by making a list, and we're actually looking for specific activities that you could do. Now, I know that student discourse is a relatively new thing, so we are going to come together and brainstorm together, and if you want to do this in your partners, if you want to do the second box in your partners, that's totally fine. But just try to think of some strategies, some actual activities that you can maybe use in your classroom that would foster student discourse. So how can you get them talking? What is an activity or a strategy that you can do to get them talking? So brainstorm on your own or together, and then we'll come together as a group and go over some ideas. I know this is kind of new to some of us. Let's go ahead and brainstorm together in case you're getting stuck. What are some strategies that you came up with? Anyone can share.
I mentioned like a warm-up activity when you walk in the door to kind of recap yesterday's lesson or thing like that, so that they could talk and discuss kind of what they learned from yesterday, what they got from yesterday's activities.
Okay, so like a turn and talk to their partner around them and talk. Okay, awesome.
Going off that, I learned a skill this summer where, like, if you're in a class that students are struggling in, put them in groups of 4, and they number 1 through 4, and they write on number 1 something they remember from yesterday, and then they pass it around, and they write the same thing on every sheet.
Awesome. And maybe if someone's like, hey, I don't remember number 2,
Yeah.
the kid that wrote number 2
Yeah.
could explain that to them.
Yes.
I love that. That's awesome. That's a really quick activity you could do for a warm-up.
Real fast.
That's awesome.
And it doesn't make the kids feel like you're picking on them.
Right.
Because you're like, I don't remember what all we talked about. Let's see what you remember.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any others that you want to share?
I do think pair share activities. as
Okay.
warm-ups.
Can you tell me kind of how that, walk me through like what one might look like?
Usually you have a topic up on the board and the students think about it and then they sit with a partner of their choosing, or you can choose it, and then they pair up and they share their thoughts about what that specific thing is.
Awesome. Okay. And Sarah, what was one of yours?
I don't know if this counts, but I wrote debates because we used that a lot this year in AP, and they loved it, and it was very engaging for them.
Definitely, and I think that debates absolutely count. I think in some classes where you have kids that maybe might not take part in a large group debate, you can even make it smaller, like let them get in a group of their choosing, and they still are having a debate, and you'll just have to walk around and monitor each group, but that makes sure that every student, even the quiet one in the corner that won't fight their way in to talk to the whole class, is still talking to the group of their choosing. So yeah, I think absolutely debates count. These are some other strategies. One that's not up here that I used in my class is called bracketology. It's where basically, like in the NCAA March Madness, you make a bracket, and it can be done with anything. We use it in history to say, okay, which of these events is the most important? So they have to pair up 2 events and decide which one would win and advance to the next round. And each student has their own bracket, and they kind of argue with each other about each other's brackets. Like, well, no, the Vietnam War is way more significant than the Korean War because this and this and this. And then the other student has to come back and say, no way, this one's way more significant because of this. So they're getting to argue, and it kind of incorporates a game. And so they really get into it. They really like it. And that's something that can be done in partners or small groups. And the students just love it. They love, especially if you have an argumentative class, they love to get in there and argue their point and be, no, this is the right way to do it, or this is the one that would win. So that's one that I really had a lot of luck with. These are just some other strategies, and you'll get a handout with these strategies, so please don't feel like you have to copy all these down. Jigsaw, I think, Kelly, you told me you've observed a classroom where this was used. You take pieces of a puzzle, and each student gets part of the puzzle, and you kind of have to come together to put the puzzle together, and they're trying to talk about, well, I think I have the piece that means this, or means that, and then you put it all together, and then you kind of discuss what they put together, and what is this image, what does that look like. Inside outside Socratic circles are kind of similar in that students are asking questions of other students and going back and forth, coming up with the questions that they're then asking to their peers. Collaborative products and assessments. This is something that the district is really going to start pushing in the upcoming year, that students collaborate on assessments, where assessments are proof that they have the critical thinking, that they have the depth of understanding, and they want those to be collaborative. So the students work together on those and talk about what product are they going to make, what information are they going to include. Even just coming to a consensus. So like we did with our consensus definition up here. So start small, build with a partner, and then eventually the whole class, going from group to group, will come together and make a whole definition. Other things, just making lists, sorting concepts, doing things like where you put different pictures around the room and saying, okay, like it could even be ice cream flavors. Go to your favorite flavor of ice cream. Okay, then everybody in that corner has to discuss a question that you give them. So putting them different ways to put them in groups and giving them little stems. The sentence stems that we used on the back, that is a way to foster student discourse and a good way to evaluate too their understanding. We did those after y'all had read the articles on your own, and we brainstormed together, we had talked together, but then y'all did that on your own. Say you're doing this as an activity in class, you could have them turn that in and grade their answers to those questions as their evaluation. Did they really get it? Did they really understand after all that discourse what this is all about? Does anyone have any questions about any of these? Okay, so what we're going to do now is actually give you some time to plan how you would incorporate student discourse into your classroom. So I'm going to give each partnership a little list of talking points. And this is another strategy that you could actually use in your classroom. If you group your students together and put a little talking point activity breakdown on their table, this will help guide their discussion. So for instance, you could see, I don't have my copy up here now, but you could see in box 1, it says things like, okay, when you're planning, you have to go over these things. So their discussion would be about these things in topic 1. Oh, and then they move on to topic 2. These are the things that they have to do, so they could think about topic 2. So obviously your topic is going to be some content that you teach in your classroom. World War I, World War II, ancient civilization. And those talking points give you ideas of what you need to talk about as you plan that lesson. Like box 2, it talks about the environment. Whenever I was planning this workshop today, I had to figure out, okay, it's gonna work best to put us in pairs and to have everything laid out, and I'm able to walk around. So even something as simple as desk arrangement can help contribute to a successful lesson. Those talking points are something that you could incorporate into this with students as well to help guide them. So what y'all are going to do is each person's going to get this little orange sheet. On the back are those strategies that we just talked about that we can use for student discourse. So if you want to add some others that we mentioned, I think we said the think, pair, share, warm-up lists, bracketology, sentence stems. So those are just strategies that you could use. So what we're actually going to do now is, as your content teams, y'all are going to plan out any lesson. Probably one for the first 6 weeks would be a little bit more helpful since that's coming at you first. So you can plan out that lesson using the talking points, go through everything, and then when you're done planning, you're going to come get a giant sticky note, and you are going to actually kind of write out what your lesson's going to look like, what it's going to incorporate, and then we're going to put it on the wall, and do a little gallery walk at the end. So by the end of the course, y'all will have ideas of other